Howdy folks. So for today's random teardown we have this. This is the AKAI Professional LPK25. It's a portable MIDI keyboard. It's USB 2.0 and it's designed for, you know, it says laptop performance keyboards. The idea is you can take this around and, I don't know, do stuff on the go. I bought this simply because, I bought this a while ago just simply because it was a cheap keyboard and I wanted to try my hand at music production. I learned pretty quickly it wasn't for me. I did a few cool things, but obviously engineering is where my interests lie. So I've held on to it, and I thought I'd just take it apart and see how it's constructed. I think the feeling of the keys is quite interesting. It's not like a piano. They have a very strange, springy feedback to them, and I'd like to see how they do that. It's got an ARP on this side, just a few soft buttons, and I believe they light up. It's been a while since I've actually plugged this in. It's a bit big to fit on my desk. We've got USB MIDI B, and I use this with FL Studio back when I was actually using it. Nothing really interesting on the back. Okay. That was a little bit more challenging than I thought it would be. So we've obviously got our electronics here. So I'm just going to eject this flat flex here so I can separate the two halves. And we can take a look at them one at a time. So this is the bottom half. So there's a board which runs all the way down, and it seems to have one shit ton of MELF diodes. I'm not sure if you can see down there, but there's pairs of MELF diodes all along down there. I'm gonna see if I can get these keys off, because I want to see the membrane they're using. Might just take one of these off, because it seems to be like these keys are one section and then these keys are another section, and then the key on the end is its own molding. Okay. So they have the black piece that sits in top and into the white piece like that, and it bottoms out. It stops on the white key. So that's kind of nice. And we've got a metal frame with a piece of felt on it, and that's obviously what prevents any sort of clanging noise between the plastic keys when they bottom out, which is nice. And then we've got our membrane domes here, and these must be just one continuous piece of plastic that runs. Yeah, this is just one continuous membrane. It's not like each one is individual, which is expected. So there's a resistor network. Bring it in a little closer. So there's a resistor network of 5 resistors and 6 diodes in groups, and it seems like they've, well, actually not necessarily. They haven't necessarily copy-pasted it. They have moved the locations around a little bit. I think it's because of the size of just the layout of the keys, because you have the 2 keys and then the 3 keys. They just had to lay it out that way. And just a simple simple header on the end. So obviously all the springiness that I feel on these keys is basically due 100% just to the plastic. So there's no springs underneath here. It's all just the flexing of the plastic, and a little bit possibly due to the membranes. It's not a bad construction. I mean, it's got more not felt, but a foam under here. So there's more cushioning, but I mean, you have to sort of bottom it out to bend the key, because of course the key will stop when it hits this, but you can bend the plastic from here to here, and then you'll hit this. So it actually isn't that bad of a construction in terms of mechanical. I mean, you could force these keys and you probably wouldn't destroy this. They've also got plastic posts which help hold up the board on the other side, which we'll take a look at now, so that when you push on those ARP keys you don't break that board. So I'm just intrigued by what they're actually using to run this. 2011-04. Oh wait a second, yeah, it is a date. What the hell, I'm just retarded. Yeah, that's a date. Main board. And in the corner here, we have what look like possibly almost like check boxes. So it's possible, that's the LPK25, that's the model, so it's possible this board is also used in these other 2 products as well, or a variant of this board that's populated differently. That wouldn't surprise me. So we have here almost certainly a regulator. Yeah, it's an LD1117A, so that would be a 3.3 volt regulator, if I remember correctly. Just got some terminators for the cable. We have our USB connector there, an 8 megahertz crystal, and our main microcontroller IC, probably going to be microcontroller. It's almost looks like it's got A something, A2 or something penciled on it, but that might just be the way I interpret that marking. It could be one of a number of things. But whatever it is, it will make reading this slightly more difficult, so I'm going to have to do off camera. That is an ST Microelectronics STM32F 102 C6T6A GHD2293. So that's probably an ST microcontroller of some sort. I'll have to look that up. So I was expecting it could be an Atmel, AVR, a PIC, maybe some sort of TI micro. But ST is also quite popular in embedded micros. Their architecture is a little bit different, but that's my best guess as to what that is. That could be, it could be a dedicated MIDI controller of some kind, but it's unlikely, because to be able to interface with all the keys, probably not. And it's one thing that I should note, is that obviously this ribbon does not have nearly enough connectors as there are keys. So obviously what they're doing is they're multiplexing this in a matrix, sort of like how you would deal with a normal typing keyboard, where you have rows and columns, and then you cycle through them basically faster than the fastest key press, and you find connections in the matrix. So that's obviously what they've done. They've mapped this to a matrix, which is expected, because otherwise the I/O bus would be way too large to do this one lane per key. So yeah, I'm not actually I'm not going to take this board out. I don't really see a need to do that. But yeah, it's not a bad unit. It was a little pricey for what you end up getting, but it's, I mean, they call it pro audio gear. I don't really know how pro audio a 25 key keyboard is, but it is at least, I mean, it does at least have the quality to make up for the price. So now I have to get that back together, which could be quite interesting, because these plastic tabs hook underneath this metal so that you can't pull the key up and snap it off here. So I just have to hook that back on. So yeah, hopefully you found that interesting. Thanks for watching.